Hey everyone, it's David Suriani here, and I'm back to give you a little tour, an update on the Carter Beauford Replica kit. So obviously, huge change right now is that the kit has been changed dramatically. Obviously, the rack is different and the drums are a different color. So wanted to go over all that and give you guys a run through because I'm pretty pumped about this new change. So anyways, the biggest change probably, as you see, is the super rack being used here and the black recording customs. Now don't worry, I still have the hex rack. It's in these cases down here, and actually some of it's over here. So I still have the hex rack, but obviously made the upgrade to the, or change to the super rack. So yeah, let's start with the rack and then move on to the drums and all the other changes. So the biggest change is definitely the super rack, as you see here. So that's going to be the chrome tubing kind of going around the kit. Now, obviously the hex rack was amazing, and guys, I'm not going to take anything away from it. I mean, it is an amazing piece of hardware. Arguably the best rack on the market for your money that you can get, in my opinion. The super rack, though, I like it better. It just has this look, this Carter Beauford look that's kind of burned into my mind. When I think of Dave Matthews Band, when I listen to Dave Matthews Band on my phone or in my truck or whatever, I picture this. First of all, I picture this guitar. I picture Dave playing that Taylor 914, and then this behind him, Carter's drums, this black, huge black Yamaha kit with the straight chrome bars. Because when I get into the band, I started listening to listener-supported and Gorge albums and the Piedmont Park video, and he had this rack. So some of you guys might be asking, like, what is a Yamaha super rack? It's kind of a rare piece of equipment. Well, the super rack was made, I think, 80s through early 90s, if that. And you might be asking, like, what's the difference from a regular old Gibraltar rack, right? The Gibraltar rack that's just the straight chrome bars, or DW, if you will. So this rack, the tubing is 1.25-inch diameter, as opposed to the standard 1.5-inch diameter tube. So that means that the rack comes off a lot sleeker looking, if you will. So if you look at those horizontal bars running down the kit there, they look very sleek. And it gives the illusion of a larger kit. So I think I can throw up some pictures here. My buddy Judah Parnas, who sold me this rack, by the way, thank you. He showed me the difference between a Gibraltar rack and the Yamaha super rack, and you can see it's a huge difference. So I wanted to create this throwback kit. You really couldn't do it without the super rack. Like, you couldn't even fake it with the Gibraltar rack because it would just look bulky, and it just wouldn't look the same. So that's the whole thing with the super rack. It's on the Yamaha 800 and 900 series cymbal stands. The rack actually ends over here after the rides, and this last part of the kit is simply just on a cymbal stand over there, the timbale, and a couple crashes. The rides are boomed out, angled on boom stands here, which is kind of a signature look from him back in the day. And then obviously wraps around the entire kit over here this way. And everything kind of sits on this top bar here, and everything has more of an angle on this side as well, obviously supporting the main stand over here, supporting the China stack. And then back here, I actually completed the back of the kit. Now this is where Carter would have his vocal boom mic kind of coming out of the top here over the seat, over his head. And you've seen, anyone who's watched a Dave show, I've seen Carter swing his vocal mic around his head, and it's coming off of this stand here. So actually, like, this piece of tube right here is 1.25-inch closet rod that I cut to length because I didn't have enough super rack to do this whole piece here. So, but the nice thing about the super rack, as you can see, like, this is a piece of closet rod I needed to use, kind of hollow. The real super rack, as you can see here, is capped off, and the inside is actually filled with this type of cork material, which helps to stop vibrations and transfer of sounds when you're hitting cymbals or drums. You know, the others are less likely to vibrate and resonate, which is awesome for recording because, you know, you want things to be as isolated as possible. So anyways, that's the super rack. Super pumped about it. I'll throw up a picture here of Carter's old kit with the super rack compared to the hex. And my cymbals were always tilted a little bit like his. I liked having the splash stacks and the trash splash here like he had, and he just didn't have that on the hex rack, and it was a little bit more difficult to actually set it up like he did. on the hex rack. I'm sure anyone else who kind of tries to do this replica kit thing like I do will tell you that if you're going to have a hex rack, you got to set it up like he has his cymbals. And if you, I would tell you, if you have the super rack, you pretty much, you have to go this old way. But that's pretty far down the rabbit hole of Carter Beauford nerdism. So anyways, let's move on and talk about the drums. All right, guys, so we're using Yamaha Recording Customs just as I was with my purple ones, but now finally black. We have piano black or gloss black Recording Customs, 20th anniversary, last year made in Japan. I'm in love with these drums. They're my dream drums. I've just always loved the look of them. Obviously, like, you know, I don't like the flames or like tears on drums or like tribal patterns. I don't like anything crazy. Sparkle's like okay, but I mean, just a black solid color, I absolutely love it. So that's what we're running there. 20 by 18, 22 by 18 inch kick, 8 by 8 inch rack, 10 by 9 inch rack, 12 by 10 inch rack, the 14 by 12 inch rack, and then over here this beast 18 by 16 inch floor. So obviously that's changed. I used to have the 16 inch, which Carter's been using for a while, but he used the 18 inch in the late 90s through early 2000s. So I picked up one of those. And over here I was able to find a 15 by 13 inch rack tom. So he had a 15 inch over here in like '07. In the earlier days he had like his timbales over there, but I like having the tom, so that's kind of why I went with that there. That's the biggest change on the drums right now. For heads, I'm using the clear 2-ply head over the single-ply black resonant head. So a lot of you guys have always asked me, like, how do you get your drums to look like that? Are you using black batter heads? And I say no. The inside of the drum is actually black, and the bottom head is black. But when you look at that, you can see the reflection of the granite blocks and the china stack up there. So I think the combination of having almost no light inside the drum and a clear surface on the toms gives you that reflection. Like you can see my ceiling in those toms. So, and another thing is I actually stripped the logos with some nail polish remover. I just took the logos off the heads to give it a really, really clean look. So anyways, yeah, so that's what I'm running there. Changed from the pinstripes, which was a little bit too dead for me. I like the brighter sound of his toms back in the day. I think it lends itself to Dave's music a little bit better. So anyways, we can move on to the changes in cymbals now, which is actually a pretty big change. So, all right, I'm going to try and give you a decent overview of the kit here. Sorry, my good camera's broken, and I'm filming this with an iPad, which is a little shaky. But anyways, we'll start left to right here on cymbals. The 14-inch Zildjian Trash Former. Amazing little effect cymbal he has way far out here to the left. On top of that, a 17-inch 17-inch A Custom Crash. Now, he had an 18-inch here at one point for a long time, and he also had like 14-inch K crashes here also. So the 17, I wanted like that middle-sized crash that I could get like a good accent out of, but still a pretty big crash if I needed it. So I do like the 17-inch there. Just my own little change to the kit. The flat ride. A Custom flat top ride has never changed, has been here forever. The 6-inch A Custom splash mounted upside down on it. I don't think that was added. I think in 2000 he didn't have that. It was just a flat ride with maybe the rattler on it. But anyways, or the sizzle, whatever you want to call it. But very vertical here. Obviously on the new kit, it's a lot more flat, if you will, and it fits more down here under the main ride. But it's actually incredibly comfortable to ride on this cymbal in this position, like being up and high. Like just the way your wrist moves, it actually is a lot better in my opinion. Main ride, we're using a 20-inch A Custom projection ride. This thing is thick and it's bright, and the bell and everything just cut through the mix. So I'm just thinking of those old jams back in the day of the Lie in Our Graves or something, where he's just riding on the bell, or 41. You can just hear it through the mix. So that was this ride cymbal, and it's actually becoming one of my favorite rides. It's really, really fun to play. 13-inch A Custom projection hi-hats. These were tough to find. All I could seem to find were 14-inch ones, so I was able to pick these up as soon as I saw them on Reverb. I bought them right away. Very, very thick and clanky, very bright hi-hats. I wouldn't use them for the wedding band I'm in or anything, playing small clubs, but for large arenas or large venues, yeah, all day long these things are going to be really, really bright, cut through the mix. So 6-inch Zill bell topped off by the Tibetan wedding bell. I'm faking my wedding bell. I don't have one. So I bought this guy on Amazon and I'm just kind of using it to top off that. If anyone knows where I can find a real one, please comment or send it my way, and I'll love you forever. 18-inch K Dark Crash thin. Carter's is medium thin, but I use thin. This has been a staple on the kit. It's been here forever, pretty much hasn't changed above the 8 and 10-inch toms. So partnered with the 17-inch K Dark thin Crash. Now, he had a 19-inch here, a K Dark Crash, but I really prefer the 17. Well, he has a 19-inch there now currently. He was using a 17 back in the day. And I like this Crash because it decays a little bit quicker than the 19-inch. Just a little bit more of an appropriate size cymbal, I think, for DMB's music. And actually just a beautiful cymbal all around. It really pairs well with the 18-inch. Having the smaller diameter makes it easier to hit this cymbal right there, which is the 9-inch Oriental Trash Splash. So, as I said, if you're doing the new Carter kit and you have a 19-inch Crash here, that extra diameter up top makes it a little bit more difficult to strike the 9-inch Trash. So I can see why Carter and his drum tech Henry went with a 17-inch here to give the clearance to hit this cymbal. The staple 10-inch A Custom Splash has never moved from its main location in between the main crashes, so that's still a thing. Splash stack over here is a 8-inch A Custom Splash over the 10-inch A Flash Splash. Now, this area changed a lot. Carter had K Brilliant splashes, I believe, but it was always changing. So I kind of made my own using the cymbals I wanted. So that's why you're seeing the A Custom over the A Flash, and they're just both really, I really like the A Flash Splash. Very nice splash cymbals. The 14-inch K Dark Crash Brilliant. I can't believe I found one of these, but I did. Sits over here kind of above the 14-inch under the China stack. Much different than the 15-inch he was using, a little quicker just for those accents. He's usually hitting it when he hits the snare on like 2 or 4. Or just, you know, when they need like a light crash, he's using that, and it works very well. Actually, he's not even using a 15-inch anymore. He has a double splash stack over here, which is just bizarre in my opinion. But anyways, 14-inch K Dark Crash Thin, one of my favorite new cymbals there. 12-inch Oriental China Trash. He had different variations of things here depending on what he had in this position, but I really like this little China cymbal here. Just a perfect little accent when you need it, floating right above the 14-inch tom. The China stack. Now this is the big one. We have the 20-inch Zildjian Oriental Trash China over the 22-inch Oriental Classic China. Now, he only used this in 2001. I think kit expert Adam Parker would tell you that is true. His regular China stack was a 20-inch Oriental Classic, and that was topped off by either an 18-inch Oriental Trash or a 19-inch K-Custom Dark, depending on the year. So I'm actually really into like the bigger Chinas. I think it's awesome for when you're riding like the last stop or don't drink the water and you're just riding on the bigger Chinas. I like having this huge 20-inch main China up there. And underneath that is the 20-inch Zildjian Crash of Doom. I don't know why he got rid of this, why he ever X'd it from the kit. It's an amazing cymbal, very loud, very deep, and just growling cymbal. I really love having it there above the wind chime. So that's the whole update for the cymbals. We can move on to just some auxiliary stuff and other changes as well. So for percussion over here, I'm just running the trap table with all of the Carter toys and accessories, if you will. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing any of these wrong, but we have it's all Latin percussion. We have the LP Casixi, the LP Red Egg Shakers, well, it's not, this isn't LP, this is actually a West Coast Snocker. I couldn't find an LP, they're discontinued, but I found that. It's pretty damn close. That's my own shaker from like elementary school. LP Soft Shake, LP Vibroslap 2, the LP Shake It, the 5-inch Triangle, and I actually have a Remo Thunder Tube as well, and then obviously the FootJoy golf clubs there. The granite blocks have been a staple over the floor tom for many years, so those have stayed. I finally upgraded to the LP whole tone chimes. These things are amazing, very beautiful, much better than the tree works that I've been using. Obviously, they came in a wood color, and I actually painted the top black like Carter has it. So, moving over here, the standard yellow Ridge Rider cowbell, topped off by the red medium pitch jam block from LP. And then over here we have the LP salsa cowbell, or the salsa jam cowbell, or whatever they call it. He used this, and I know for sure in '02, if you listen to Seek Up from the Gorge at the end when he's jamming with Butch on the key solo, he uses this thing, and it's friggin' awesome. I'm almost certain he had it mounted off to the left of the hi-hats there, so that's why I have that. The 13-inch steel timbale from LP, and I'm actually using the partnered 12-inch steel timbale from LP too. He had the bigger ones. They were like 13 to 14-inch, but these work for me just fine. So obviously, pedals have stayed the same. DW, MDD, or machine direct drive pedals. Incredible pedals, worth the money. So I haven't switched from those. I actually thought it was cool. You can actually see the reflection of them in the kick because the head is still so clean. I love that. Anyways, the slave pedal here is pulled back a little farther than the main pedal, and that is strictly for using the double bass technique that Carter does crossed with the hi-hat. We can go over that in a separate video in the future. Last bit of hardware that is new is this, which is amazing. This is the Porter & Davies BC Gigster tactile monitor stool, or throne if you want to call it that. Basically has like a subwoofer in layman's terms built into the seat. This little amplifier down here has a signal coming from the kick, which has a microphone in it, and then runs out to the throne. And you basically get kicked in the butt when you hit your kick. And it makes playing really, really, really fun. It actually picks up the toms too, because that microphone in the kick just kind of picks up that vibration from them, and you feel that rumble. It makes playing so much fun. So I believe Carter uses butt kicker, concert butt kickers, and he's got like 4 of them beneath his throne. But I went with this Porter & Davies company, and the quality is amazing. We'll do a whole separate video on this throne because it's so, so good. And while I'm here, last change is the snare, which is a Yamaha Recording Custom 14 by 5.5 steel snare. So this is one of the new snares from Yamaha, the Recording Custom redo. A beautiful snare. You guys might be asking, like, what? Steel is like so ringy, and Carter had titanium, done it 13 by 6.5. Well, guys, my favorite snare sound from Carter is the Under the Table and Drumming DVD. And I'm almost certain he was using an Tree Phantom Metals steel snare, which would have been a 14 by 5. But anyways, I love that snare sound, so I slapped a die-cast hoop on the top here, and I put an Evans Genera on it, which just has a slight muffling ring, if you can see it, on the underside of the head. And it brings the snare, it brings the ring way down. You don't need any moon gels on it. And this thing cracks and pops like you wouldn't believe, which I really like for the Throwback DMB music. So anyways, guys, that's pretty much the whole kit. I'm trying to get like a view back here as far back as I can, but I'm really, really happy with this kit. I enjoy playing it better than the new kit. It's just more, I don't know, it just feels more fun. The toms are bright, the snare is bright, and the cymbals are bright. Everything is very bright and easy to play. No ride side China, because you didn't have that till about 06, 07. So again, I'm really trying to stay true to the era I'm going for. So anyways, guys, that's the update for the Carter Beauford Replica. I'm almost certain that I might be one of the only people now that has a super rack with this type of kit on it, because they were pretty rare, I think, super racks. So obviously Adam Parker with his replica kit on the Hex rack is pretty much dead exact too. But other than that, I'm not really sure of any other kits like this besides Carter, so I'm pretty proud to own it. And I love sitting down and playing it every day. So anyways, hopefully some more drum covers coming up soon. Just obviously moved to a new space if you haven't noticed. So things have been kind of slow go and everything like that. But anyways, I will catch you guys in the future. Any comments or questions you have, throw them down in the comments below, and I'll try to answer. Always happy to talk drums with you guys. So, all right, wish you all the best. Have a good one, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.